Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you can see by the title, we are bringing back an OG video that I used to film all the time on my channel, and that is a weekly meal prep for weight loss. I am back on meal preps. I also feel like these are so great for budget meals. So this is both for budget meals and weight loss and meal prep and having food ready to go. In the description box down below will be the written out recipe and instructions along with the points. I do track my points. That's what I do to kind of track my food and know how much I'm eating. I use the Healthi app, which is very, very similar to WW. Literally, it's pretty much the exact same thing. So if you're on WW, this should be pretty similar, but if not, add it into your recipe builder, divide it in how many servings you get, and it will generate the points for you. So be excited, meal preps are back. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, could you please give me a thumbs up? That will be so awesome. Leave a comment down below, and if you're new, subscribe. I would love to have you. And let's jump into the first meal. Okay, to start this egg casserole, I want to show you the veggies we're adding in and herbs. We're doing fresh parsley, okay, we're gonna add just a handful. I have about a half of a white onion. We're gonna chop that up into really small dice-sized pieces. Now for this breakfast casserole, I call it breakfast squares because we're gonna be cutting it into squares. The key is just to add any kind of veggie you want. So you could do frozen broccoli. That's like a typical veggie. I feel like that is in breakfast. But I really like these green beans. It sounds weird to maybe put green beans in an egg casserole, but I'm telling you, it's really good. We're gonna add a cup, that's a half a cup. We're gonna do one whole cup, and I'm saving the rest of the veggies in the bag for lunch. So a cup of greens of your choice. You could do broccoli, or you could do green beans like me. And then I'm gonna chop those up so that they're like bite-sized little pieces. You could do asparagus. There's even frozen asparagus. You could do frozen asparagus. You could do Brussels sprouts. Just any green veggie. Push that to the side. And then I have white cheddar cheese squares. We're gonna also dice those up. I measured 65 grams of this extra sharp white cheddar cheese. I think this cheese is so good in an egg casserole, and this goes a long way. You don't need too much. You just want a little bite of cheese in each one. So I like to dice it up into small pieces so that it just goes a little bit further. It also melts better if you dice this, so don't skip on that. Okay. I'm gonna just push that to the side. For the protein, I did 4 slices of bacon, and I just microwaved it for 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be super crispy because we're gonna just put it in a casserole. So I just wanted it cooked, and I'm just cutting it up into small pieces. We're going to scoot this aside, and we're gonna add some eggs into a bowl. Eggs are 0 points, so this is why it keeps the calories and the points super low. This is why I love to make this and utilize 0 point food options. 6, 7, and 8. For the seasonings, I'm gonna go ahead and add those now. I don't know if you guys can find this, but you could use any kind of seasoning mix you want, but this is the Everglades seasoning. It's just an all-purpose seasoning, and it's super good. So hopefully you can find this or something similar, just like an all-purpose seasoning. It has like ground up parsley and onion and garlic, and then we're gonna add lots of black pepper and we're gonna add some sea salt. And then I'm gonna take a whisk and I'm gonna whisk all these eggs up. So I'm gonna add the bacon directly in there, the cheese, green beans. I'm gonna save a little bit of the parsley to add to the top. So I'm gonna do half of the parsley and then I'm gonna save the other half to just top the casserole so it looks pretty. So there's all the ingredients we're gonna add. In this dish, there is, I know this sounds weird, but I did add the bacon grease to line this dish instead of olive oil. It was on my paper towel and I just splotted it. And now I'm going to pour the egg mixture into here. Don't forget any of that cheese down in the bowl. Gosh, this looks beautiful. And then we're gonna top it with parsley, a little bit more seasoning, just so when you have your first bite, there's like a punch of seasoning and flavor. There we go. Okay, and now we're gonna go pop this into the oven and let it bake on 400. It's about done. That looks and smells so good. I'm gonna let it cook for maybe another 3 minutes. I think I'm just gonna turn the oven off, actually. Just let it kind of cook in there. Okay, here is the finished casserole. It smells amazing. I'm going to go ahead and divide it up. I'm gonna try to get 8 squares out of this. Okay, so. Perfect. 8 rice squares. Here's a square. Looks so good. Look at the bacon. This is such a good little breakfast. I'm gonna go ahead and pop them in their containers. And I'm also gonna eat one right now for breakfast. Oh, I love these. You can do bites also. I forgot to mention that. I like the square, but you can also make these into little egg bites if you prefer. I don't know, my mom used to make these squares all the time in casseroles, so to me this is just like normal. This is just how I make it, and they hold together really nice. So here's the square for breakfast. This is the leftovers. It made 8 of them and they stay super nice. They're really easy to microwave. I would just put like a paper towel over top and microwave it for like 1:15 minutes in the morning. You could also add this on top of like an English muffin. You could make them smaller and put them in the middle of an English muffin, which I do have an English muffin here for breakfast, but I'm just having that as a side. But you definitely could make these smaller and put it in and make little sandwiches out of them. So here are the egg squares. I'm gonna go ahead and let these cool off and then store them in the fridge for the rest of the week. I'm gonna crack open a Grey Beco, Diet Grey Beco. We're going to meal prep. It is kind of evening time, so hopefully the lighting's okay, but I wanted to take advantage because it gets so hot in Florida. I live in an RV. You guys probably remember, if you've been here for a long time, the whole ordeal with trying to meal prep when it's really hot. But it's rainy and overcast and cool in the house, so I'm gonna meal prep for you guys, and it's gonna be a great meal prep. All you'll need for this is 16 ounces of ground chicken. I'm gonna be using a frozen bag of mixed vegetables with corn, green beans, and carrots, and I think peas. Yeah, peas are in here. And then you'll need, we're doing a family size because we want leftovers, obviously, so we did a family size of buttery home style microwavable potatoes or stovetop. and then brown gravy, and then salt and pepper and garlic powder. That's all you'll need. It's really budget friendly and it's really easy to make. You just pretty much, oh, I'm gonna show you. To keep this recipe really low in points, you'll want to make sure you're using 98% fat-free ground chicken. And then for the veggies, you can use canned veggies if you want, but I find it easiest just to use one frozen bag of mixed vegetables with the green beans, carrots, peas, and corn. And then I'm just going to place the lid on so that it can simmer. Now, the ground chicken has no flavor, and I feel like it needs a little bit of like buttery flavor or like fat. So I added a little bit of I can't believe it's not butter. And I feel like it definitely helps the flavor. And then for seasoning, I'm just keeping it really simple with garlic powder and salt and pepper. You could also use any kind of herb seasoning or all-purpose seasoning, anything you really want. But the flavor comes a lot from the gravy and it's really salty. So I just keep it simple with garlic, salt, and pepper. For the gravy, I'm just doing it per instructions, but I want to let you know I did end up adding a little bit of extra water, about 1/8 cup. So it calls for 1 cup total on the package, but I wanted it to just go a little bit further, and this is going to go in the fridge and thicken anyways, so I feel like you could add a little bit extra water just so that everything's coated with the gravy, because that's really the best part of this whole dish. So once the gravy thickens, I add a little bit more water and whisk it together, and then we're just going to pour this right over that chicken and veggie mixture, and then we're going to just make sure everything's combined really well. Recipe 1 is pretty much done. I have the potatoes, big old thing of potatoes. So I'm just gonna keep this in this glass container, and then when we want it, we'll measure it out and dish it, and then we'll also keep everything separated unless Joey wants to make like a meal prep dish for work, like you can put them in like little containers. Here's the finished dish, and then we'll add sharp cheddar cheese on top. This is what it looks like after, and I'll add the potatoes to a bowl, add the chicken gravy veggie mixture on top, and then a little bit of cheese. Second meal is super simple. We're doing a barbecue quinoa bowl. So we're going to cook some quinoa on the stovetop per instructions. I have 3 chicken breasts here, diced up with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And then we're going to be doing a green pepper, a red onion, and I'm making a vinaigrette barbecue sauce with a honey barbecue. So I'm making a big old batch of this, so I'll leave the recipe and the points in the description and on the screen. I need to add it into the recipe builder, divide it up, things like that. So honey barbecue, you can use any barbecue sauce, and then red wine vinegar. Super simple. In this bowl, we're gonna make the barbecue vinaigrette, which I've made this before and it's so good, and you use so much less barbecue sauce because you're adding vinegar and lemon. So 1/3 cup barbecue sauce, and we're gonna do 2 tablespoons. Might end up doing 3, we'll see, we'll have to taste it, but 2 tablespoons to start red wine. I'm gonna do 3. And then I'm going to do the juice of half of a lemon. Give it a good balance. I'm gonna add half of a, what is this? Half of a teaspoon? Tablespoon? Tablespoon. That's too much actually, so we're not doing a half of a tablespoon. I'm doing more like a half of a teaspoon.
Probably a teaspoon.
Yeah. That's probably good. Yep, and I'm not gonna measure this because I'm not gonna put a lot. Let's say like 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, now I'm gonna pour this over the chicken breast.
It is fresh from Florida. It might just be a local thing.
Okay, we're gonna let this marinate, and Joey's gonna go start the grill up. We're gonna have some delicious grilled chicken here in a little bit. And while he's doing that and this is marinating, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the veggies and get the quinoa started. I'm going to chop really finely as I can get it, 1 green pepper, and I'm also going to do a purple onion. And you just want to dice it up as small as you can because I feel like it just tastes the best texture wise. Also, I just prefer it to be really small. I decided to make a big batch of quinoa, so I'm actually doing 2 cups of uncooked quinoa, so this is going to make a lot of leftovers. So you could definitely make less than I am if you want, or you could even make more depending on how much servings you want to get out of this, but 2 cups is what we did, and added a little bit of salt and then just letting it cook. I have 2 containers I want to use for this. I'm going to do them in 2 different ones because I don't really have anything bigger than this. So I'm going to add the quinoa in now so that it cools down. It's super hot. Kind of spread it out a little bit. And we did a double batch of quinoa so that we'd have a lot of extra. Okay, so see how steamy it is? It needs to cool down before we add everything else in, but we're gonna let that sit there. Okay, the chicken is done off the grill. It looks so good. I'm just chopping it into dice-sized pieces, about that size. This chicken turned out so juicy. I definitely think you don't want to skip on the marinating it in the barbecue vinaigrette. It turned out so good and had so much flavor. The barbecue vinaigrette does burn off. A lot of it does burn off though, so make sure you have a little extra for the side.
Oh, what'd you need?
I got it.
Oh, can I do dishes or are you talking?
I'm not talking, but do you want to get the vinaigrette out? Because I think we need to add vinaigrette to this.
Yes.
So it's like, it's in like a little, the container with the blue lid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to add. So like, oh my god. This looks so good. Okay. We're gonna add some almonds to this one. So Joey doesn't like almonds, so, and green peppers that much with this, so I'm gonna do green peppers and almonds in mine and just onions in his.
Well, I like almonds, but I just don't know if I want it in this certain recipe.
Yeah, sure thing.
I don't know how it's going to turn out.
Okay, so I'm adding a 1/4 cup of slivered almonds. I think it's gonna be good. Add a little crunch.
Yeah, you know what? Put it in both. Put it in both. Convinced me.
Did I?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it'll be really good.
I think so too. A bit of crunch, like you said.
We're gonna add onions to
You can
this.
load up on them onions. That was all green onions. I was like, oh, or I thought that was all purple onion. I was like, hell yeah.
Sorry, there wasn't. We only got 1 onion. We are meal prepping a quinoa chicken salad, and I made a barbecue vinaigrette to go with it. This looks so good. There's chicken, quinoa, green peppers, red onion, and slivered almonds with this barbecue vinaigrette. Oh yeah, look at this. Alright guys, that is it for this meal prep. I hope you guys enjoyed those recipes, those low calorie, low point, high protein, budget friendly, easy recipes to make for home. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.